So today's video is going to be the very first of its kind on this channel, where I will talk about freelance, how to become a successful freelance web developer. And I'm making this video because a few weeks ago I made another video asking you guys for suggestions on the kinds of content you want me to make on the channel, and a few of you suggested I make a video about freelancing. So today I'm presenting to you my guide on how to become a successful freelance web developer. Now let me mention that everything I talk about in this video will be based exclusively on my own personal experiences as a freelance web developer. I no longer freelance, but I freelance for many years and I have plenty of experience. So there are a few things I'll talk about in this video that might sound controversial, but hey, my objective is to tell you the truth based on my own personal experiences, so be aware of that. So this video is going to be comprised of 5 main sections. First of all, I'll talk to you about how, or rather the skills that you need to become a successful freelance web developer. I'll talk about how you can build your very own portfolio website and the things that you should have on your own website to make you more attractive to potential customers and clients. I'll talk about how you can actually find clients that will pay you for your services. And then I'll talk about how to deal with clients. Okay, not every client is a good client, how to spot bad clients, how to charge them, your pricing system, and even how to over deliver and impress your clients. And then finally, I'll round up this guide by talking about how you can make additional income, that will supplement what you're charging your clients in the first place. There are ways how you can make extra income on the side. So I really hope this video helps you out. And I know freelancing is becoming kind of like what's in fashion. It's not easy to become a successful freelance web developer, but you can. And I really do hope that this guide will help you achieve your dreams of becoming a successful freelance web developer. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right into it. Okay, so let's start by talking about the skills that you will need in order to become a successful freelance web developer. Now, HTML and CSS are easily the top 2 skills that you should acquire. Every website is built with HTML and CSS, and they're basically the 2 fundamental languages or the backbone of any website out there. So HTML and CSS you absolutely need to know, and it's not enough for you to be decent at HTML and CSS. No, you actually have to be very good at both of them. Now, HTML is pretty easy to learn. Within 3-4 days, you can become quite good at HTML. CSS is a bit more sophisticated, so it might take a few more weeks, or it might take some time, but the more you know about HTML and CSS, the better you will be as a web developer. Now, the third skill you should acquire would be WordPress. That's right, WordPress. Now, I'm stressing WordPress because, believe it or not, there are many people in the web development community who believe that if you are a WordPress developer, then you're not quite as skilled as developers who build websites with custom code. I'm trying to keep this PG-13, so there's a word I wanted to use, but I'm not going to use that word, okay? But it is simply stupid and very ridiculous to think that way. I don't know why there is that perception. People believe that, well, if you build websites with WordPress, then you're not really that skilled as a web developer. It's utter nonsense. Today is May 12th, 2021. As of today, I believe WordPress powers almost 1/3 of the entire internet. We're talking about tens of millions, maybe even hundreds of millions of websites built with WordPress. Very popular websites like Walt Disney, Skype, TechCrunch, I believe even the White House, their official websites are built with WordPress. And you're going to tell me that being a WordPress developer means that you're not good at building websites? Why would you deny yourself access to all these amazing opportunities? I mean, WordPress has 2 significant advantages over custom code. Number 1 is the fact that with WordPress, you can build websites very quickly with WordPress. And second, your customers would be able to easily manage their sites. It's not difficult to learn how to create a post or publish a new page or update a theme or plugin. It's not that difficult. If you are going to build a custom website using custom code for your clients, it will take you longer to build a site, and also your customers might find it quite challenging to edit code. So what's with this? Well, if you're a WordPress developer, then you're not a real developer. That doesn't make any sense. Don't be like that, okay? Leave those people behind with their old-fashioned thinking, because honestly, building websites with custom code is going out of fashion. There is still a place, or there are certain instances where it is better for you to build a website with custom code, but in most cases, the vast majority of your clients don't care whether it's custom code or WordPress. So just go with WordPress because it's a lot easier to work with. Anyway, when I say learn WordPress, I don't mean you learning how to install a theme or how to install a plugin. I'm talking about you actually becoming a bona fide WordPress developer. What does that mean? Ideally, you should be able to build custom page templates. You should be able to customize the WordPress loop. You should be able to write your own custom WordPress functions, customize the way plugins work, and so on. In order for you to be able to do those things, you need to know some PHP, because WordPress is built with the PHP engine. That does not mean that you have to become an expert at PHP. No. I'm going to tell you something that always surprises a lot of people. You see, me, I am not an expert at PHP. Not by any stretch of the imagination, I'm not. At best, I'm very average at PHP. So a complete beginner, yeah, of course, it will look like I know a lot about PHP. But to actual PHP developers, I know nothing. Honestly, I know nothing when compared to actual real PHP developers. So the point I'm trying to make here is that know enough of PHP to be able to become a WordPress developer. Forget about prioritizing, becoming an expert at PHP. In fact, I would recommend that you prioritize JavaScript over PHP. Know enough of PHP to become a WordPress developer, but then try to know as much of JavaScript as possible. JavaScript is a very, very powerful language, and I think it's even more useful than PHP. No, PHP is very, very useful, of course, but when compared with JavaScript, I think JavaScript is a slightly more powerful, and you can do a lot more things with JavaScript as opposed to PHP. So just to recap, learn HTML and CSS as much as you can. Become a WordPress developer, which means learning as much of PHP as needed to become a WordPress developer. Learn JavaScript. You don't have to become an expert at JavaScript. Intermediate knowledge of JavaScript should be enough for you. And then PHP, intermediate level will also be fine. I'm not trying to discourage you from becoming experts at all these 5 skills. Of course, the more you know, the better for you. I'm just trying to give you the smart way of acquiring these skills and what skills you should prioritize. Now, when it comes to Python, Ruby, and actual programming languages, you don't need them. You don't need to learn how to code in Python or Ruby in order to become a web developer. There are, of course, certain kinds of websites that are very, very sophisticated that will require you to learn about Python or Ruby, but the overwhelming majority of websites out there you don't need Ruby or Python to build them. You don't need those. You would only need them if you want to build mobile applications and things like that. But just to recap again, HTML, CSS, WordPress, JavaScript, and then PHP. So now let's talk about building your portfolio and becoming more attractive to potential clients and customers. Now, you obviously need your very own website. It doesn't make any sense if you are a web developer, but then you don't have your very own website. It doesn't make any sense. You should have your own website. And on this website, you should have your portfolio. Portfolio being the sample of different websites that you've built. Because a very natural question potential customers would ask you is, okay, can you send me samples of sites that you've built before? So you want to be able to show them that, hey, I've built this kind of website before, here are the samples, things like that. So you want to have your very own website, your personal website, and then build, let's say, maybe 5 or 6 websites, okay, in different kinds of categories. So you can have a website for a blog, one for an e-commerce site, you can have one for a business website, you can have one for charity, and so on. But just make sure these are websites in different kinds of fields, right? But here's the thing though, you don't need to buy separate domain names for each and every one of these sample websites. What you need, first of all, is your own primary domain. So say, for example, alexanderwebservices.com, right? That will be my primary domain. Now, for my sample websites, for the blog, as an example, I would create a subdomain. I would use a subdomain. So I will say blog.alexanderwebservices.com. That will be for the blog website. And then for the charity website, it will be charity.alexanderwebservices.com and so on. So you don't need to buy separate domain names for your sample websites. If you have the money, sure, you can go ahead and purchase all these domain names if you want to. But if you're trying to save money, you don't have the money, just simply use subdomains. Now, in addition to your portfolio on your personal website, please have a section where you talk about yourself, basically like an about me page. Have at least a picture of yourself, and if possible, even have a video just saying, hey, thank you for coming to my website. My name is Alex. I build websites for a living. It is my passion. My purpose is to ensure that my clients are always happy whenever I build websites for them. Thank you so much. You can contact me. Just stuff like that. I don't want to hear about you being, oh, I'm shy, I'm camera shy. Forget about that. We're talking about you making money. We're talking about you being able to pay your bills and put food on the table. I'm not talking about you having to have a professionally produced video. No. It can be you just in your living room, just have like a decent background. And you could even use your mobile phone. Mobile phones are so powerful these days. You don't need like a sophisticated camera or anything like that. You don't need that. Just put the camera in front of you and smile, and a short video, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and you're done. Put it out there. But the point here is that you want to make yourself relatable, marketable. See, right now I'm talking to you, right? You can see my face, you can see my mouth moving. I'm talking to you, you can see my face. Whether you like it or not, or whether you may not even know this, but the fact that you can see my face, there is a certain level of trust that you've either consciously or subconsciously attached to me, because you can see me talking to you. If I was making this video without you seeing my face, yes, you may still trust me, trust what I'm saying, but you're not going to have that connection with me because you can't see my face. The fact that you can see my face, there is that connection there already, either consciously or subconsciously. That's exactly what you're trying to achieve on your own personal website. When people go to your site, let them see your face. Have a short bio about yourself. You don't have to write about where you were born or whether you're religious or what political party you belong to. No, you don't need any of that. Just a very, very short bio. I'm Alex. I build websites for a living. Here are my hobbies, and so on. That's it. That's all you need. But please have a section where people can read a little information about you, have a video, or even have a picture of yourself. Now, I want to use my website here just as an example. Now, please note that I no longer freelance anymore. So this website is not about me, trying to market myself to potential customers or clients. It's just me having my own personal website. You can see right now, the very first thing you see basically is me smiling, pointing at the mountain, hey, that's me, And then I scroll down, and then that's another picture of me again. And now over here, there is a video of me in a seminar I had a couple of years ago. So basically, this is my personal website. It's all about me, okay? So for your own personal website, you're trying to market yourself. So in addition to having a section about yourself, of course, don't forget to have the section for your portfolio of websites that you've built. Now, to add to that portfolio, you might be thinking, well, won't clients be turned off by the fact that all these sample websites, they're basically me building, they're basically just samples of websites that I've built. They're not actual real websites for our real clients. One thing you could do to remove that disadvantage would be for you to actually find work for charity. That's right. You can build websites, you can manage websites for people based on charity. And the wonderful thing about working for charity is the fact that you're not being paid, okay? But that means that you can dictate your hours. The level of expectations isn't going to be quite as high. And then you can actually put on your site, on your resume, on your portfolio website, you can actually put those websites that, hey, these are actual real websites that I actually do manage and that I've built. Now, let me pull this up really, really quickly. If you're looking for websites where you can find charity work, there is this article I found. It's from wiredImpact.com. I'll have the link in the box below. But you can see there's 3 sites, okay? Volunteermatch.org, idealist.org, allforgood.org, and I took a look at the first one, Volunteer Match. So in here, you can search by your location, whether it's a city, zip code, and you can even search by skills required. And I found one. Let me just try and see if I can pull that up really quickly. There was one I found. Okay, so here it is right here. Okay, this was for in Baltimore, Maryland. I no longer live in Baltimore, Maryland, but I just used the city as an example. So I found this one, web developer remote. This is for the Africa in ME. So it says AF or IM is a registered non-profit organization with a diverse workforce of volunteers of all ages, blah, 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 blah. Here you can build a volunteer experience where you can make meaningful differences. Jobs, assist with building new systems with C#. Okay, ASP.NET, SQL Server. Okay, anyway, I made a mistake with this particular opportunity. But the point here is that you can find many websites or many charity opportunities. Let me just pull up that link here again for the 3 sites really, really quickly. Okay, so yeah, once again, you have them: volunteermatch.org, idealist.org, and then allforgood.org. You can go to these sites, search based on your, I don't think you even need to search based on your location because it's virtual. You can go with virtual, right? So you can search for virtual opportunities, WordPress design, web design, HTML, CSS, things like that. And then you get access to this charity projects. You begin working, and then you can actually indicate in your portfolio that, hey, these are actual real websites, these are actual real clients, although based on charity, that I work with. So that will further enhance and improve your portfolio. This is very often the biggest challenge for most new freelance developers. How do I find clients? How do I find them? I have all the skills, but I just can't seem to get clients. How do I solve that issue? Well, first of all, the first thing you need to do would be to inform as many people as you can that you are a web developer and that you can build websites. This may sound very cliche, it may sound very obvious, but trust me, it does work. Tell your friends and family. Let them tell other people that, hey, if you need a website, my cousin or my friend or my brother can help you out. My very first website that I built for a client was actually through my cousin. It was my cousin's best friend. She wanted to build a website for her cooking blog. And because I told my cousin that, hey, I build websites, my cousin simply introduced me to her friend and I ended up building her website. So, believe me, that's the first thing you want to do. It sounds very, very obvious and very cliche, but trust me, it is the first thing you want to do. Inform as many people as you can that you can build websites. Now, second, let's talk about you going on platforms. The first one here being Fiverr, Fiverr.com. Now, Fiverr for a very long time had this reputation of being a very cheap website where you can get services for $5, and most of the sellers, those offering the services, were not quite as skilled. That has changed for quite some time now. On Fiverr, it's no longer $5. Yes, you can still get services for $5, but now you have people charging as high as $2,000, $3,000, right? Now, here's the thing, okay? What you're looking at right here is Fiverr, and I've searched for WordPress services, right? So in here, let me show you real quick. All right. So right here, I searched for WordPress, and I searched by the top rated seller. In case you don't know Fiverr, you can actually search by level of reputation. So I think you have top rated seller, then you have level 2, level 1, and so on. So this is for like the absolute top rated sellers for WordPress services on Fiverr. And the first guy I saw here is somebody called Zain Saeed 100. And here is his profile. You can see right now that he has over 1,209 reviews, 4.9, extremely high. No surprise that he's a top rated seller. It all looks good. However, there is one thing lacking on his profile. When I clicked on his first service right here, which is I will design responsive website in 10 hours, this is the profile page right here. Let me just play this for you real quick. He does have a video, okay? But just, let's take a look. Okay, let me just skip that all the way to this point. Okay, all right, so here's the thing. Yes, he has a video, but you don't see him. You don't see him talking. This is how you can beat this guy. This is how you can become higher rated than him. If you had a video of yourself with your face saying, "Hi, welcome, I'm Zaid, I build WordPress websites. Contact me if you want me to build a website for you. I promise I'll deliver quickly." Just stuff like that. When potential customers actually see your face, they would rather choose you over somebody else. Now, to be fair, if you join Fiverr for the very first time, and even if you have a video of yourself, you're not likely going to beat this guy, because this guy already has the top-rated seller reputation. So a lot of people will look at his reviews and the fact that he has lots of experience on Fiverr, so they might still go with him. However, not every client will go with the top-rated seller. No. There are many other clients who will go with the level 1, level 2, and so on. Your job, your goal is to surpass everybody else in your category. So if you're starting Fiverr and you're a level 1 seller, your goal is to become the most marketable level 1 seller. In fact, in your video, you could say, "I'm new here to Fiverr, but I can guarantee you that I am very, very proficient at designing websites, WordPress, things like that." You can admit that, hey, I'm new to this platform, but I'm good at my job, and you will not be disappointed if you hire me to work on your project. Again, you might say, "Well, I'm shy," and well, okay, if you're shy, fine. But at the minimum, at the barest minimum, have a video describing what you do and why people should go with you. Now, I took a look at some other people on this page for the level 2 seller. I don't quite remember. There was one I found which didn't even have a video at all. And I think it's actually this. Is it this guy? I think it's this guy. Aha. So here's an example. This guy is Mofazul, another top-rated seller, over 1,000 reviews, and all he has on his profile page is just pictures. It's just pictures or images of his websites. No video at all. No video. You can just. I'm telling you, you would surpass sellers like this if you have your own video talking about what you do and why people should hire you, because again, you will build that connection between you and your potential client. So that's just my main tip for Fiverr. Okay, most sellers in here don't have videos, and even when they have videos, they don't have videos of themselves talking. Have your profile on Fiverr. You can start with Fiverr, have your profile in there, add your portfolio images, and then have a video of yourself talking, or at the barest minimum, have a video describing what you do and why people should employ you if you're too shy and you don't want to be in front of a camera. Okay, now let's move on to another site, which is freelancer.com. Here is another site where you can find work. Now, to be fair and to give you full disclosure, I have never sold any services on freelancer.com. Never. In fact, back in my day when I was still active in the freelance service, it was Upwork. I believe it was called Upwork back then, not freelancer.com. So I don't know about Freelancer. I don't think you can upload videos, because I checked a few profiles in here. One is from Govind. This is one of the top sellers for WordPress. I didn't find a video about him. And even Matthew C, another guy, Kiati, another lady as well. I couldn't find any section where they had videos being uploaded. So I think maybe with Freelancer it's a bit different. But nevertheless, on Freelancer, I believe you can write exams. There are tests that you can take to indicate your level of expertise in web development. I'll recommend you take those exams, try to score as high as possible, and then have, of course, a very, very good picture of yourself. Okay, have a good picture of yourself, describe exactly why people should employ you or hire you for the projects and so on. I'm sorry I can't give you more tips for Freelancer because, again, I've never actually sold any service in there, so I don't know what works or what doesn't work. But one thing I do know on Fiverr is that you should have a video of yourself if possible. So that's it for searching for clients online. And again, if you have the opportunity to go to all these WordPress meetups, and even if you're fortunate enough to be in communities where you have all these business meetups. I know when I used to live in Baltimore back then, I've forgotten what it's called, but it was like a weekly thing. I think it was like every Tuesday or every Thursday. You would have this meetup where different freelancers and services and businesses, they'll come together and talk about, their service they're offering, things like that. If you're fortunate to be living in an area where you have something similar, I would recommend you do so. Have yourself a decent card. It doesn't have to be like an expensive design of a business card. We'll just have something tangible, and then go out there, try to establish as much connections as possible, and yeah. Okay, so now let's talk about what might be the biggest and most important section, which is clients. How do you deal with your clients? And honestly, I could spend hours talking about this, but you don't have that time. I don't have that time. So what I'll do is I'll just give you a few tips and some words of advice when it comes to dealing with your clients. Let's first of all talk about our pricing. How do you charge? How much do you charge? First of all, don't charge per hour. Charge per project. Only charge per hour if it's a small issue. Maybe, for example, your client needs you to fix their logo or fix a color issue on their site, then you can charge per hour. But if it's you building a website from start to finish, charge per project. Now, how much do you actually charge? This is all relative. It depends on where you live. Of course, if you're in the US, you're charging maybe thousands of dollars. If you're somewhere in Southeast Asia, you're probably charging hundreds of dollars. It all depends on where you live. However, when it comes to actually charging your clients, it depends on two primary factors. Number one, who the client is. Now, I'm going to say something right now that might sound very controversial, but it's the truth. And I'm not going to lie to you. It's the truth. When I used to freelance, I would charge businesses and companies a little bit more for the exact same service that I will charge a regular individual. In other words, I will charge companies more than a regular individual for the exact same service. Now, this might seem to you kind of like immoral and illegal, like, why are you charging a company more than a regular individual? Well, for two reasons. Number one is the fact that regular individuals have less money to spend than companies or businesses. And then number two, believe it or not, when you charge substantially less than what the company is expecting you to charge them, that might actually turn them off. Because they might look at you and say, we had a budget of about $2,000, $3,000 for this particular project, and this developer is charging us $1,000. Maybe he's not quite as good as we thought he is. They're going to go to the other developer charging them $2,000. It happens all the time. It might seem illogical to you. It might seem like, wait, hold on a second. Shouldn't they pick me because I'm charging less? It's actually a turnoff in many instances. See, there is a reason why we tend to attach more values to products that are more expensive than other similar products offering the exact same service but that are cheaper. That's right. You can go to a store, you have two products giving you the same service. One is more expensive than the other one, but guess what? There are people who will go with the more expensive one because they feel, because it's more expensive, it's more valuable, and it's a better product than the other one that's cheaper. It's all psychological. So, please, do not make the classic mistake of charging less because you might think, a company would find me more attractive. No, charge them a little bit more. Don't go insane. Don't start charging them $10,000 because it's a company. Of course, you don't want to do that. But charge something reasonable. Charge a rate that you'll be happy with. The worst thing about building websites is when you're charging a client a very, very small amount of money, and then you start running into all these issues and you feel like, man, this product isn't even worth what I'm being paid. It's happened to me quite a few times and it's not a good feeling at all. Okay, so try to charge something that you'll be happy with so that even if you face challenges along the way, at least at the back of your mind, you know you're getting paid well. So you don't have that issue at all. So that's it. I will charge companies and businesses a little bit more than regular individuals. And then second, a lot also depends on the kind of website that you're building. If you're building a blog, it's going to cost far less than you building an e-commerce website. So in other words, the more sophisticated the website, the more you should charge. Now, back in my days when I used to freelance, I would charge somewhere between $750 and $1,000 for a blog. Just your regular simple blog with maybe 6 pages and a contact page and things like that, right? But then if it was for an e-commerce site, I would charge usually at least $1,500 to maybe $3,000. And it's only natural. There's a reason why, and I'll use WordPress here as an example. There's a reason why when you buy premium plugins for regular blogs or business websites with WordPress, they tend to range between $20 and $40 for price. But if you want to buy a plugin for WooCommerce, which is used for building online stores, the average price is usually like $100. That's right, it's an investment. So websites that involve financial transactions are usually more sophisticated, and as a result, you do want to charge more than regular websites. So that's it for price. And let me give you a word of advice in here. Not every client is a good client. Just because a client has approached you and said, hey, we want to hire you to build a website, that does not mean they're a good client. In fact, there are clients out there that you're much better off not even dealing with than the amount of money they're paying you. I've had quite a few of them in the past, and one way how you can quickly spot a bad client is when they want to reduce costs as much as possible. So say, for example, you've said, okay, well, I will charge you $1,000 for this website. And then you tell them, okay, the website will have a logo, a contact page, an about page, things like that. If they start saying, okay, we don't want a contact page. We don't want an about page. Now, how much will that cost? That is usually one of the biggest signs that, hey, this client you're dealing with isn't worth your time. Move on. Now, I know in the very beginning when you are starting off and you don't have money with you and you're desperate, okay, you might take anything, but at some point, begin to recognize bad clients and just say, I'm sorry, it looks like we're not, this relationship isn't going to work out, and then you quietly and gently just move on with your life. Let them go to another developer out there. So please try to spot bad clients as soon as possible. One thing I forgot to mention with the pricing is charging. Okay, now how do you actually charge the client? I used to charge 25% first upfront, 50% once I'm halfway done, and then 25% once I've completed the project. You want to charge something upfront every single time to protect you. Because here's the thing, it happens all the time. You can have a developer working on a project, and after a week, the client says, you know what, I'm no longer interested, and then they move on. They don't pay the client anything, or they don't pay the developer anything. And the developer can't do anything either because, hey, there was no agreement. It happens all the time. So to protect yourself from that and also to ensure that your clients are actually serious about finishing the project, I'm telling you, there are so many people out there, they'll tell you, oh, I want to build a website. And then within 2 weeks, they say, okay, I'm no longer interested. So many of them out there. So to protect yourself, make sure you charge something upfront. It doesn't have to be 25%, but charge something. 15% at the minimum, charge something upfront. This will protect you, and this will also signify or show that, okay, maybe the clients are actually serious about finishing the project. So what I used to do once again was 25% upfront, 50% halfway through, and then 25% once I have completed the project. Another word of advice I'll give you right now is, if you're dealing with a mid-sized company or a big company, try to establish contact with the person directly in charge of making the final decision on the website project. The reason is because there's plenty of bureaucracy in big companies. The person that you're interacting with, the person that you're exchanging emails with, may not be the person in charge of making final decisions. So it may happen that you need them to approve a design change or approve something that you want to add to the website. That person you're dealing with might have to contact another person. That person will have to contact another person, and so on. It happens all the time. And to avoid that, because true story, I'm not going to name the company, but it happened to me. I spent, what was it? Was it almost 2 weeks to get an approval to add a feature because the person in charge of making the final decision was on vacation. Oh my gosh, that was one of the most frustrating experiences I ever had. For 2 weeks, I couldn't do anything on the site because, well, we're still waiting for approval. So to avoid that, as early as possible, try to establish contact with the person directly in charge of making the final decision. Your first point of contact may not be that person. So what you want to do is just say, I'm sorry, are you the person in charge of making final decisions on this project? If not, can you kindly point me to the right person? Because if I'm able to deal with that person directly, I can guarantee you that it will help me work on the website much faster, and I will be able to deliver on this project a lot faster and better. Try to be professional and smart with the way you approach this topic, but please try to establish contact with that person who is directly in charge of making the final decision on the website. There's one more thing I want to mention. Okay, how do you over deliver? How do you impress your clients, right? It's very, very, very simple. The most efficient way to do this would be to deliver on an earlier date than promised. So if your EDD, which is what I call the expected date of delivery, if it's, let's say, May 17th, you've told them by May 17th, I guarantee you that the website will be ready. Have it ready by May 15th or May 14th and tell them that, hey, your website is ready. Many of them will be like, what? Hold on a second, because it's rare. It's very, very rare. They'll be thinking, wow, you told us 17th, but today is the 14th and the site is ready. Good job. They will like you, and that's one way to build trust and have them come back to you and hire you again for future projects. But be smart about this, okay? The first time they ask you, okay, when can you have this website built? If you know deep down that, okay, within 14 days, I can get the site built, tell them it will take 17 days. It will take 18 days. Tell them that. Now, I know that might seem like, okay, you're not being quite as impressive as you could, but the truth is, most of the time, it's not going to matter to them. Of course, if they tell you that, hey, this is an emergency, we need this built as soon as possible, then obviously you don't want to play that game. But many times, if the customer doesn't really, if they're not in a rush for the project, it's not going to matter to them if you say 14 days or you say 18 days. It's not going to matter to them as much. But it will matter to them if you're able to deliver at an earlier date than expected. So keep that in mind when it comes to dealing with clients. So there's a lot more to talk about when it comes to dealing with clients, but let's move on to the next section here where we'll talk about extras and miscellaneous. Basically, I'm trying to talk about how you can make extra money on the side. And the first one here is, I'm sorry, I just saw it in my notes right here. I forgot to mention one thing, okay? When it comes to you designing the website for your client, if you're not a web designer, I'm not a web designer. If you're not a web designer and you don't know how to design websites, one thing you could do is you could tell the client that, hey, can you tell me other websites whose design you like? Okay, and then you can build something similar for them. So one thing they will do is they'll go online, they'll search for different kinds of sites. They'll say, hey, I like this design, I like this design, I like this design. Once you've seen the design, once you've seen the kind of website they want to build, then you can easily now, apply that on your own product. So that's one very, very smart way to get an idea of what the customer wants if you don't know how to design our websites. Okay, let's move on to the extras and basically how you can make more money. One of the best ways is through affiliation. If you don't know what affiliate marketing is, it's when you get paid by a company when somebody buys their product using your own link. As a freelance web developer, you want to become an affiliate for some very good web hosting companies because, hey, websites need hosting, right? So personally, I affiliate for two main hosting companies, that's SiteGround and Cloudways. So one thing you could do is you could join their affiliate program, And then one thing you could do is when you're talking with your client, if they haven't yet gotten any hosting, you can say, hey, why don't you host with this company I recommend? I work with SiteGround, I work with Cloudways. Why don't you host with them? And then give them your link. When they buy the hosting, SiteGround or Cloudways or whichever company you're affiliating for will pay you. That's how you can make extra money on the side. Obviously, you want to make sure that whichever company you're affiliating for, make sure it's a good company that you can rely on. Because it's not going to go down well if you recommend some shady company and then that company goes out of business, they offer very bad services. The company that you build a website for will hold you responsible. So don't make that mistake of just recommending any company out there. Go with the good companies. Also with WordPress, specifically now, with WordPress specifically, there are other companies that you can affiliate for, like Elementor. Elementor is one of the best page builder plugins for WordPress. You can build websites easily with Elementor. You can affiliate with them as well and then say, hey, look, let me use Elementor to build your website for you. Here are the advantages of Elementor. Just simply use my link to buy the Elementor plugin, things like that. You can also, if you want, you can be upfront with the company you're dealing with. You can even be upfront with the, especially if it's an individual, you can tell them straight ahead that, look, here is how you can save yourself some money. Buy hosting with my link, buy these plugins with my link, and I will charge you less for the project. You're still going to make yourself some good money, okay? You're still going to make yourself good money, but as a way to entice your customer to use your affiliate link, you can tell them that, hey, I'm going to charge you less if you buy these products or you buy these services using my own affiliate links. You can do that. Or if you decide, you can choose not to tell them that you're an affiliate, just give them the links and let them buy the services. And okay, so one more thing I want to mention before I round this up is once you've completed the project and the customers are very, very happy, they like the site and so on, one thing you could do to get them to hire you again in the future would be to offer them some hours of free service. Okay? Because when you build a website, at some point, that company or that business or that individual would want you to make an update or make some few modifications, make some few changes. You can tell them that, hey, look, I've delivered your website, it's ready, here it is, you're happy. Now, in the future, I'm going to offer you 2 hours or maybe even 4 hours of free service. This will go into updating your site, making simple changes, things like that. That's one thing you could offer them as well, especially if they've been a good client. You want to hold on to your good clients. You want to make sure that your good clients constantly go to you whenever they have an issue. You want to make sure that they never look at another developer out there. It's always going to be you. They have eyes only for you. Okay, and one way to entice them, to get them even more invested in you, is you offer them 2 hours, or even 4 hours of free service, just as a thank you for them hiring you in the first place. So just say, hey, look, I've built your site, you're happy, and I'm happy. However, in the future, if you need some changes done, some modifications, I'm going to offer you 2 hours of free service. You don't have to pay for anything. Just let me know what you need done and I'll get it done for you. Trust me, your customers will appreciate you for that. So that's basically it for the entire video on freelancing. And it's there are still a few more things I could talk about, but for time, I'm going to skip over those. If you're interested, I do have an actual course that covers everything from start to finish. In the course, I talk about everything I've talked about in this video and even more. So if you're interested, I'll have the links in the description box below. You can get the course either on Udemy or even on my own personal site, webmonkeyacademy.com. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it's not the most professional video done. I was kind of like rambling sometimes, but it's basically unscripted, unedited, and I just wanted to talk to you one-on-one and try to give you the best advice that I can give when it comes to freelancing. So if you have any comments or questions, put them down in the comment section below. I'll do my very, very, very best to answer them. And of course, if you are a current web developer you're currently freelancing. If there are any other words of wisdom, or if you have any different opinion from what I've said in this video, of course, feel free to put them in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you. So please share this video with anyone who you feel might benefit from it. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do support me. If you haven't subscribed to the channel for some reason, please do subscribe and hit the bell so that you're notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you next time. Cheers. All the best in your freelancing journey. All the best. Cheers.